Hello there, you're tuned into 7Edition with me, Sabrina Zainal. The headlines. Blueprint to provide sustainable transport system to boost nation's growth unveiled by PM.
And differentiate
Malaysian scientist honored for breakthrough in cancer research. And Britain and the European Union reach a last-ditch Brexit deal. For the first time, the government unveiled a strategic plan for the transport sector, the National Transport Policy NTP 2019 to 2030, with more emphasis on improving railway networks and services in the country. The blueprint is Malaysia's new direction in developing efficient, integrated and secure transport towards a sustainable transport sector that accelerates economic growth and supports the well-being of the rakyat, in line with an advanced nation status.
Prime Minister Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad said the government will continue efforts to improve the quality of rail transport, be it for passengers or cargo. This, he said, will be done by upgrading existing rail networks and developing new lines while procuring new electric train service, ETS, and monorail sets.
Jadi rail itu is a big investment and it must be used as frequently as possible.
The Premier, who launched the NTP 2019-2030, said the government has introduced initiatives to attract multi-rail operators, and such move will not bring about any negative impact to the country's main rail operator, KTM Berhad. The blueprint consists of 5 thrusts and 23 specific strategies in providing smart connectivity, easy and safe transportation system that meet the needs of the people. The aims of the policy is to propel the nation in its logistic endeavors with enhancements in the road, rail, air and maritime sectors, as well as embracing the upcoming 4th Industrial Revolution, IR 4.0, to promote the modal shift from private vehicle to public transport.
A Selangor State Development Corporation PKNS employee was killed after the tour bus he was travelling in crashed in Afyonkarahisar, Turkey yesterday. 10 other passengers, also Malaysians, were also injured in the incident.
PKNS in a statement confirmed that its employee Azalan Miswan, aged 50, from Taman Medan Petaling Jaya, was pronounced dead at about 11:45 a.m. The Foreign Ministry said it is ready to help the family of the deceased involved in the tour bus accident. Its Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah said the ministry will wait for any request from the family of the deceased to bring the body home.
Malawakil sedang membantu menguruskan urusan-urusan lain lah. Sebab sekarang ni kita belum pasti daripada keluarga yang terlibat apakah langkah yang akan mereka laksanakan. Mereka ini adalah pelancong-pelancong Malaysia daripada pegawai-pegawai PKNS. Saya yakin PKNS juga akan membantu.
There were 35 Malaysians in the tour bus travelling from Pamukkale to Cappadocia, a popular tourist destination. The PKNS employees left for Turkey on Saturday and were scheduled to return home on October 21st. Selangor Menteri Besar Amiruddin Shari also expressed his condolences to Azalan's family. He also prayed for speedy recovery for those injured and hoped that Azalan's remains will be brought home safely.
Meanwhile, in Johor, a 56-year-old man was sentenced to 17 years in prison for raping his 18-year-old daughter. The man was given the sentence after he gave the guilty plea before Kluang Sessions Court Judge K. Rajaswari today. He committed the offence at a house in Kampung Setiajaya in Machap, Simpang Renggam at about 11 p.m. on the 3rd of this month. The incident took place when the victim's mother was not at home. The court ordered the sentence to run from the date the man was arrested on October 5th. Now, the Customs Department seized 10.6 million cigarette sticks and 4.35 litres of liquor of various brands at two separate raids in Penang and Selangor. The value of the seizure was totaled at 8.2 million ringgit. Now, Customs Assistant Director General Abdul Latif Abdul Qadir said the enforcement officers raided the North Butterworth Cargo Terminal in Penang on October 8th and seized cigarettes worth 851,000 ringgit, excluding tax, hidden inside a 40-feet container which were declared as shoes. The second raid at a business premise in Puchong, Selangor, led to the seizure of alcoholic drinks valued at 26,673 ringgit. Two men were also arrested to assist investigations under the Customs Act and Excise Act.
In other news, police have crippled a syndicate found lacing pre-mixed drinks with drugs, with the arrest of an e-hailing driver in a recent raid in Kampung Simi in Ipoh, Perak. The man was nabbed together with various drugs, including 245 pre-mixed drink packets worth 753,295 ringgit. Investigations revealed the drink packets were sold at 300 and 700 ringgit each and distributed to entertainment outlets around Ipoh. In Kuala Lumpur, 59 foreign women working as guest relation officers or GROs were detained in an anti-vice raid codenamed Op Noda at two entertainment outlets in Jalan Imbi, Kuala Lumpur last night. The raid also found crowns and sashes sold for between 100 ringgit to 1,000 ringgit to patrons who wanted to engage in sexual services with the women. All those detained have been taken to the Dangwangi Police Headquarters for further action.
Now, Malaysian scientist Dr. Serena Nick Zainal has been honored with the Dr. Joseph Steiner Cancer Research Prize 2019 for her breakthrough research in accelerating the holistic interpretation of the cancer genome. The award, also known as the Nobel Prize for Cancer Research, will be given to Dr. Serena, who is based in the UK, together with her collaborators at the University of Bern in Switzerland tomorrow. Dr. Serena graduated with a degree in medicine in 2000 on a scholarship from Petronas. After that, she pursued postgraduate studies exploring breast cancer. She was subsequently awarded a fellowship in 2017 before moving to the University of Cambridge. Based on her research, mutations in cancer tumors can be analyzed using new bioinformatic methods, which enabled new approaches to targeted therapies. Moving on, the Entrepreneur Development Ministry is in talks with a European firm for the development of yet another air mobility vehicle, colloquially known as a flying car. Its minister, Datuk Seri Muhammad Rizwan Muhammad Yusof, said the vehicle uses a different technology from that of Malaysia's first flying car announced previously. Datuk Seri Muhammad Rizwan added no official announcements have been made on the second flying car project yet, as it is still under consideration. He also said the car, which is currently being developed in Europe, may see its inaugural flight in Malaysia next year, should the latter decide to invest in the project.
Working closely with a leading institution of learning in Europe, and we are negotiating to bring the technology here. The business try to showcase that you can actually travel from Kuala Lumpur to Penang in 1 hour.
And the technology is sort of like a flying car, you mean?
Yeah, it will be, but it will be powered by electric, for example.
Okay.
It will use high-end component of what we've been talking about, liners. We talk about using the produce from liners.
Earlier in the Dewan Rakyat, Datuk Seri Muhammad Rizwan said the prototype for Malaysia's first flying car is expected to be launched by year-end. He said the project will continue to undergo further development, but did not reveal the exact date of the launch. Up next, cop saves man from oncoming train just in the nick of time. We'll be right back with the details. The Thanks for staying with us. Now on to the foreign front. Britain and the European Union reached a last-ditch Brexit deal on Thursday, just hours before an EU summit that is expected to give it a seal of approval. But Prime Minister Boris Johnson, will still have to take the accord to a sceptical British Parliament for its backing on Saturday, and it is far from certain that it will pass. Now, Johnson, who has pledged to take Britain out of the EU with or without an agreement, tweeted that they have gotten a new deal that takes back control and called on lawmakers in London to approve the agreement at a rare Saturday sitting of Parliament. EU officials are also pleased they avoided an immediate crisis at the European Council summit, and European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker recommended that the other 27 EU leaders endorse the deal. The draft agreement was forged just weeks before Britain was due to leave the bloc on October 31st, ending more than 4 decades of close economic and political ties with its nearest neighbours. But it is not clear how many of Johnson's Conservative MPs will back the deal, and if the British opposition could vote it down or attempt to force a nationwide referendum to approve or reject it. Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the main opposition Labour Party, already said the new agreement should be rejected by MPs, stating that Johnson made an even worse deal than his predecessor Theresa May. Next, Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam was again forced from the legislative chamber because of protests Thursday by opposition members. Lawmakers were dragged one by one from the chamber after they heckled Lam for a second day running. This follows a bloody attack on a prominent protest leader the night before.
In the latest outburst of political rancor, pro-democracy lawmakers chanted slogans and waved placards depicting Lam with bloodied hands. She had returned to the Legislative Council to answer questions from lawmakers about the content of the policy speech she delivered on Wednesday. But chaos erupted once more as about a dozen members of the Assembly were ejected, calling for her to resign and asking her to address protesters' key demands, something her policy address largely ignored. Violence has escalated on both sides of the political divide, with the latest being an attack on a prominent protest leader. Jimmy Sham, one of the protest movement's most recognizable faces, was left lying in a pool of his own blood late Wednesday after he was jumped by around 5 men wielding hammers and knives. Police strongly condemned what they called a planned attack and vowed to investigate. He is currently in a stable condition and recovering in hospital. Over in the U.S., dramatic dashcam footage showed a state trooper pulling an unconscious driver out of a stalled car in just a whisker of a second before a train smashes into the vehicle in Centerville on Wednesday morning. The video, released by the Utah Highway Patrol, shows the moment Ruben Correa running towards the car, which had stopped on train tracks with its lights on. The subsequent rescue of the driver as the train barrels towards them and the train crashing into the car. Correa was at a nearby traffic stop before responding to the call of a car that had stalled on the tracks. No injuries were reported. Correa also told local media that the unidentified driver was suffering from an unknown medical condition.
Elsewhere, 35 foreigners were killed and 4 others injured when a bus collided with another heavy vehicle near the Muslim holy city of Medina in Saudi Arabia on Wednesday. State media said on Thursday the victims comprise Arab and Asian pilgrims. The accident occurred when the private chartered bus collided with a heavy vehicle loader. The impact also caused the bus to be engulfed in flames and its windows blown out. The injured have been transferred to Al Hamna Hospital. Authorities have also launched an investigation into the crash. Now on to some business news. Global uncertainty, including the ongoing trade war between the U.S. and China, as well as the slowing semiconductor market, will continue to affect the country's exports performance. According to Malaysia External Trade Development Corporation, MATRADE, the two giant economies are Malaysia's biggest export destinations, while electrical and electronic E&E industry is the country's biggest exports contributor.
Unfortunately, semiconductor market industry this year is expected to slow down. I think by 13%. And goes back, I'm very consistent in what I'm saying. When the global demand is slowing down, then we are equally affected because E&E is the largest.
In August 2019, exports went down marginally by 0.8% to 81.4 billion ringgit. The E&E industry, which contributes about 38% of Malaysia's total export, also plunged by 7.4% during the same period. Now, Bursa Malaysia ended marginally lower on cautious and range-bound trade. According to a dealer, this is in tandem with regional peers following a lack of market catalysts. The benchmark FBMK LCI eased 0.40 points to 1,574.50. On to stocks to watch. Apex Healthcare Berhad is buying a freehold 18.8-acre industrial land in Malacca for 20.4 million ringgit. While the move is deemed positive, any possible earnings contribution arising from the transaction is only expected over the longer term. Next, FGV Holdings Berhad's move to dispose part of its 51% stake in MSM Malaysia Holdings Berhad will help reduce its debt burden. The firm is also seen as a proxy to rising crude palm oil prices given its high earnings sensitivity to the commodity's price movement. And last but not least, Power Root Berhad continues to boast attractive growth trajectory driven by its fresh strategies. Its decent dividend yield of circa 4% could also offer some degree of defense amidst the current market uncertainty. Coming up, viral video of a teary dog breaks netizens' hearts. We'll be right back. Dogs are truly man's best friend, as these creatures are known for their loyalty and love that know no boundaries. A testament of this saying can be seen in this video of a dog crying at its owner's funeral. The video, posted on social media, went viral recently and has garnered over 2 million views so far. Take a look.
In the over 2-minute-long video that has been circulating on Facebook, the dog is seen lying on the floor near its owner's coffin, wearing a yellow scarf similar to the other mourners present at the funeral. However, what caught netizens' eyes was the fact that the dog was also crying, heartbroken over its owner's death. The canine cried so hard that apart from the tears flowing from its eyes, its body was also trembling, while its mouth was open wide, as if it was in pain. A few mourners came over and pet the dog, but it continued to cry inconsolably. The incident was believed to have happened at the funeral of an elderly woman in Vietnam. Many netizens were touched by the video, saying it shows why dogs are said to be man's best friend.